we'll be coming to your introductory speech very soon, Mr. President, but I will just do a couple of introductory slides and then I'll ask John to introduce you.
Okay.
So I'd just like to say welcome everybody to this conference. Naumai, Harimai, it's great to have this opportunity to have our conference online. I'm sure we'd all love to be in Egypt at the moment, but this is also quite exciting. The first time we've ever tried to run this program online. If you're looking at the slide there, so if you're interested in getting onto social media, hashtag mLearn 2020, I'll talk about the organization of the conference after the introductory speeches. Just before we start those introductions, the schedule, if you want to know what's happening, you should be able to find the schedule there from the mLearn website. You can Google mLearn, you'll find it quite easily. That's the URL, and the schedule comes in two versions. There's one which is the PDF version, but we recommend that you download the Google Calendar to your own calendar so that it's in your own time zone. If you have a look through the calendar, at least you can kind of see what's coming up. The Google Calendar also has the abstracts on it, so you can actually see what's in those particular sessions as well. So the outline for our welcome session is, in a moment, we'll be handing over to the president of Mansoura University, who are the hosts of the conference this year. We'll then have a short welcome from Ohio State University, who are our main sponsor and whose Zoom platform we are using. And then there'll be an introduction from the International Association for Mobile Learning, and we'll be just explaining how everything's going to work through the 3 days of the conference. And so what I'd like to do now is to hand over to John Zaki, who is one of the people who's been organizing the conference from the Egyptian side for us, and he will be introducing the university president from Mansoura. So John, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you very much, David. Welcome everyone to the 19th World Conference organized by mLearn and Mansoura University. I hand to Professor Ashraf Abdelbasit, our Mansoura University president, the opening speech of the conference. Dr. Ashraf, تفضل.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and hopefully next time we will be able to organize this conference physically, and we can have you in Mansoura to chair and to participate and see what we are and what we and where we do stand in this field. First of all, I would like to thank you to accept this to chair in this conference, and this is first. And second, to give me the opportunity to tell you something about what have been happening in Mansoura regarding this e-learning, or what are the efforts that we are trying to offer to our staff member and our students. We, as every part in the world, have had a very hard time since last February, after the start of the pandemic, and we were obliged to start or to disseminate this e-learning suddenly, actually. We in Mansoura University have a good culture for this, and we have started our e-learning unit a couple of years ago, and they are most of our staff are interested in this. But after the pandemic, it was a must to disseminate or to widen the scope of the e-learning unit, and to give our support to the staff member and the students to be able to use the facilities that we have in this field. The IT people in our university, they generate a very good platform for this to uploading the lectures and to give the opportunity to students to log in and have these lectures. Although it was in a very short time, we succeeded to do that, and maybe John will present to you the numbers that the number of the lecture that have been uploaded and the number of the students that have been logged in the system and the number of the lectures. There are terrible numbers because if you know, we have almost 180,000 students in our university, and we had a very heavy traffic through our internet service, but we succeeded to pass, and even for the exam, about all the you know, we are a different discipline in our university, and we have a very considerable number in the medical field, from the medicine, the pharmacy, the nursing, the industry, and also we have the Faculty of Science, and all of these faculties did the final exam in an electronic form, and it was a big breakthrough in the educational system, not only in Mansoura but in Egypt also. But we have a very good chance to do that, and I would like to thank John and his team, because they had a very hard time and hard days to build up the platform, to train the people, and to try to face all the problems that we had by the time, and alhamdulillah, and we succeeded in that. And this year, from this academic year, they made a new platform, and because you know, as every part in the world now, we are adapted and hybrid learning and face-to-face and online education to face the pandemic, and so they build up a new platform. They improve the service that we are offering to the staff and the students. Also, they launch a mobile app. Maybe you have the opportunity to have a look, or to John may show you the mobile app that we already launching about 2 weeks ago for the students and for the staff, and we have now shifted from using the PCs with the mobile to using the mobile applications, which make all the service, not only the educational one, available to both the staff and the students. I know we have a lot to do. We still need to improve the service. We have some limitations regarding the infrastructures, but we are trying to face that as much as we can. I'm very happy to be with you today, and I'm very happy that in spite of all the difficulties that we have, we succeeded to let this conference come to reality, maybe through the virtual one, and inshallah then the next year it will be in a physical. Again, thank you very much, and I appreciate your contribution in the conference, and I hope this conference will have a very good succession, very good discussions, and we can improve the service that we have and get your experience to help us to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ashraf, and thank you for the kind words. I hand back the talk to David.
Yes, thank you very much for your welcome speech. It's very kind of you to give us your time to launch our conference, so thank you very much. What we'll be moving on to now is another speech. This is a pre-recorded speech from Tim Rayner, Dean and Director of Ohio State University, Lima. There are sponsors who are hosting the Zoom platform that we're using today. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen in order to turn the sound on for the video. Make sure that you can hear this video. Okay.
Greetings from the Ohio State University at Lima. I am pleased to send our best regards from here to all of you attendees across the world. It's an honor to welcome you to the 19th World Conference on Mobile, Blended and Seamless Learning. Many thanks to you as the conference organizers and to my colleague, Dr. Dean Crystal, for this opportunity to greet all of you. The Ohio State Lima campus is very pleased to support your conference on our Ohio State University Carmen Zoom platform. I trust that all of you seamlessly access the conference through our platform. It's also a pleasure to co-host this year's conference with Mansoura University. One day, I hope that I'll have the privilege of meeting representatives from Egypt in person. As part of my welcome, I was asked to provide a very short overview of the Ohio State University and the Ohio State University at Lima. Our Lima campus is one of 5 university campuses. Of those 5, 4 are regional campuses. Between the 4 regional campuses, we matriculate approximately 4,500 to 5,000 students. Our campus, the Lima campus, is located in the northwestern quadrant of Ohio. We are about an hour and a half south of Lake Erie. Our county, Allen County, has a population of approximately 102,000 persons. It is a manufacturing hub for Ohio. There's lots of agriculture, and we have some very large health systems, hospitals in Lima. Our campus is a 650-acre campus. Most of it is wooded, and we have approximately 160 acres of tillable land, farmland. We're moving that farmland towards what will be a demonstration agriculture project focused on regenerative farming, with my hope that we will do some advancement around soil and water conservation to rebalance what is the natural human systems. On our campus, we offer 13 four-year degrees. We have approximately 132 employees, 31 tenure stream, 60 associated faculty. Those are one-year appointments or less that are renewed on an annual basis, and 41 staff. On our Lima campus, we have just under 1,000 students, 998, all undergraduates. They come from 10 counties across our region. A third are first-generation students. 75% of our students choose us as their first option, which means they really want to stay in this rural part of Ohio. 18% are students of color. The majority of our students are liberal arts students, and they are either freshmen or sophomores. As I said, we are a regional campus in a 5-campus system. The big campus, the one in Columbus, is about 2 hours away. As a system, Ohio State is a land-grant university, land-grant mission, with a core responsibility of providing accessibility and affordability to the citizens of Ohio. As a university system, it's comprised of over 150,000 people. The system matriculates over 68,000 students. We employ 50,000 faculty across all ranks and over 28,000 staff. The university has an alumni base of more than 600,000. On behalf of the Ohio State University at Lima, I want to welcome you to the 19th World Conference on Mobile, Blended, and Seamless Learning. I trust that you will have a productive day and that your fellowship will result in encouragement in the endeavors that each of you do in your respective countries. I hope the conference itself will lessen the isolation we've all felt as a result of COVID, and that you will be encouraged in your respective work to maximize the benefits of mobile devices to better distribute education across the globe. Your work is important. I'm pleased that you're engaged in this process, and I wish you the very best in those efforts as you go through the year. I trust that today will be a rewarding conference day and that much learning will be shared to the benefit of all. Best wishes to all of you. Thanks for this opportunity to greet you. Good luck and have a great conference. Thanks very much.
Okay, cool. I wondered, I've got a few administrivia things to go through soon, so I'm just going to talk through things like the schedule and the Slack and the Zoom and various other things. But I wonder whether at this point any of the, we've got a few members here of the mLearn executive, and I wondered if any of them might like to say a few words before we progress to that. So we've got we've got Helga and we've got Tom from the exec. We have John and Mohammed from the university. I wonder if anybody would just like to say a few words of welcome to the people who are here.
Hi everyone, it's wonderful to have this online mobile learning conference. It's a privilege to continue regardless of all the challenges we had this year. And we're looking forward to all the presentations and keynotes that will go on through the next 3 days. Welcome and enjoy.
Thanks, Tom.
Hello, everyone. It's great that we are here. It's been a lot of time that we put into this conference. And even though we are not in Egypt, we would have loved to be there. We really wanted to go, but as you all know, the pandemic kept us apart. But we really hope that in the future we'll be able to do this again, but then on the ground, not in the cloud. But we welcome all of you, and we are looking forward to your presentations. We're looking forward to our chats in the background, and we really hope that we can communicate and will continue communicating after the conference. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks, Helga. And I think we also have Dean, although he's labelled as OSU. Are you still there, Dean?
Welcome, everybody. I just want to concur with what Tom and Helga had said. This is a exciting and challenging times for all of us, but we also are pulling through and getting through this. And unfortunately, we can't meet face to face, but with the great help of our team all around the world. We are going to make this work and have great discussions and learn a lot and express our ideas. So again, welcome and thank you.
Thanks, Dean. Okay, everybody, what I'll be doing is just going through a slide set of basic information. So hopefully that'll set us up for the days to come. So as you've already experienced, we're using the Zoom webinar tool for most of the sessions, and you've been emailed a link, of course, to day 1, and you'll be sent email links for Zoom for days 2 and 3. And as you've found out already, you can't use your video or microphone unless you're presenting in the webinar tool. And as Tom mentioned earlier, that if you want to send questions to the panelists during a session, you need to use the Q&A tool. You can put the questions in at any time, but the normal process is that they would only be actually answered at the end of the talk. But you feel free to put Q&A in at any time. The chat is, of course, available. You're more than welcome to use the chat to communicate with each other, but we won't be looking for questions in the chat as hosts and panelists. So please remember that the Q&A is for questions to the panel, and the chat is really just for you to use if you want to have general conversations back channel with other members of the audience. So that's the Zoom webinar tool. We'll be using that for most of the sessions. However, we do have some workshops, and obviously with workshops, they need to be much more interactive. And so for those, and also the poster session, we will be using the Zoom meetings, which many of you I'm sure are familiar with, which is the sort of standard Zoom. So you will be receiving a different link for those workshops. The first workshop is at the end of today. You will be able to use your camera and microphone, of course, in the workshops, and instead of the Q&A, there's the normal chat. And as always with Zoom meetings, the breakout room feature will be available. Whether or not the workshop hosts decide to use it will depend on the workshop activities. But that's the sort of standard Zoom that I'm sure many of you use quite regularly. So most of the sessions will be using Zoom webinar, but you will be sent a separate link for the meetings for the workshops. So that's Zoom. Social media. So if you're using social media, conference hashtag is hashtag mLearn2020. We've been sending out a few things from our different accounts using that hashtag. So if you are someone who's active on social media, please do make sure to use that hashtag when you're communicating. If you want to tag us, we've actually got 2 handles. There's one that's specifically for the mLearn conference, so that's probably the main one to use on Twitter, which is at mLearnConf. The conference is run by the International Association for Mobile Learning, and we have our own handle, which is IML.org. Feel free to use that one too, but specifically for the conference, it's the at mLearnConf. So please do, take the opportunity to use social media, whatever that platform might be, and yeah, share whatever you like. So that's the hashtags and handles. Now, I guess one of the most important things is that we're not going to get the opportunity to interact socially face-to-face. So in order to make sure that there is a communication channel and you can have conversations offline, you should all have received an invitation to join the Slack workspace. We've also set up a tiny URL, so it's easy for you to get to if you haven't got that long link in your email. So that's just tinyurl.com/mLearnSlack. That's the invitation. So all you need to do is to just click on that, and it should let you go straight into our workspace. Of course, you do need to be logged into Slack in order to access it. So really, please feel free to use Slack for any kinds of questions, conversations, interactions, and treat that as the sort of way in which that you can have that more social experience in the conference. We're also possibly will set up a parallel Zoom meeting channel and we might give that a try maybe tomorrow and see whether that's also helpful. In terms of Slack itself, the name of the workspace is mLearn 2020. There are some Slack channels within that workspace. If you're familiar with Slack, you'll know that you can have a number of different workspaces, and within those workspaces, you can have multiple channels. So we've basically just set up 3 main channels within Slack. There's the standard ones, which are called general and random. They're the ones that kind of come out of the box with Slack. We've set up one with a very long title, maybe just to sort of make that one stand out as being, if you like, the more sort of official one. So the one that's called International Conference on Mobile Seamless and Blended Learning is really for anything that's to do with the conference admin. So if you've got any questions to us in terms of organization or links, or really anything that's actually, you know, that you need to direct towards the committee around the conference, then please put them into that particular channel, and obviously we'll try and answer any questions that come up in that channel. If you want to have a more sort of general chat about anything else that's in the conference, then the one called conference chat is for anything else that you want. So you can put anything in there that's about the conference. The other thing that's quite important is at the end of the conference, we've got our annual general meeting, and we've set up a separate channel for that one. And it's particularly important because at the AGM, we elect the new members of the executive committee. And it's very important that we get a quorum of people coming to that, a quorum of members. So please do come along to the AGM. And if you've got any questions about what goes on in the AGM, or you want to know anything about the elections, then please just put your conversations and questions in the AGM channel. So that's the Slack. Now, some of you will be presenters, so some of this information has already been sent out, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of what would happen. So some of you in the room already are presenters, but currently you're in the guest role. So what will happen is that you will be promoted to panelist, which means that you will be visible to everybody and you can put on your camera and your microphone at the appropriate time. Now, if you've received the emails from us as a presenter, you will know this idea that we're going to ask you to be available during the prior break session, just to make sure that you're ready to present when your time does come. So for example, after I finish going through these slides, we do have a bit of a break before the next presentations. And so what we'll be doing is asking those people who are in the next few presentations to make sure they're sort of available in the room, and then we'll be able to promote you to panelists just so that you can make sure that you're ready to present at the appropriate time. So just bear in mind that the break might be quite a long time before your speaking time, so we don't have that many breaks. So just keep an eye on the schedule and sort of see when the break prior to your presentation is, and please try to be there if you can. And then after your presentation, the host will return you back to the guest role. Of course, if you want to communicate with us while you're in the guest role, you can use the Q&A, and we'll monitor the chat also, particularly during the breaks. Although, as I say, the actual Q&A for the speakers won't be monitored in the chat. So yeah, so that's the presenter stuff. Now there will be conference proceedings available very soon on the conference website, and afterwards they will be open access, published by the LearnTech library. And in the meantime, if you want to see what the papers are about, the Google Calendar contains abstracts to the papers and the keynotes, and I'll just jump onto the website in a moment just to make sure that you're familiar with where that information is. So that's kind of the sort of informational slide set that I wanted to cover. So what I'll do is just stop sharing for a moment, and then I'll go and fire up the conference website and just make sure that you're familiar with the location of everything. So, okay, I'll just reshare my screen. So this is the mLearn home website. So the important thing is just to be aware of the schedule. So the schedule is here. And there's a PDF version. So this is the easiest one to read if you just want a quick skim of, for example, where the next break is. So if we look at where we are at the moment, we're in this opening and welcome. Of course, this is Cairo time. We've got a table of related times over on the right. And it's now half past the hour roughly. So on the hour, we'll be starting these keynotes. And then we'll go straight into the Africa Middle East track. So if anybody is speaking either in the Africa Middle East track or as one of these two keynotes, we would ask that you remain available after we've finished this introductory session during the break prior to the 2 o'clock session, so that we can make sure that you're ready to do your presentations. So this is an easy way of looking at getting an overview of the program. If you want to get more detail and you want to have absolute clarity about time zones, we strongly recommend that you download the Google Calendar. This is the Google Calendar here. If you just click on the button down here, you can actually add it to your own calendar, and then all of the sessions will be in the right time zone. And then in your calendar, when you click on them, you'll be able to see all of the abstracts in your own calendar. So that's what we would recommend that you do. I hope that's all of the sort of information that you need at the moment in terms of the organization of the conference. I'm happy to take any questions in the chat actually at the moment if anybody has anything to ask. So you don't have to use the Q&A for this introductory session. If there's anything anybody would like to see covered off, please put something in the chat now. Otherwise, what we'll do in a few minutes is we'll just take a bit of a break, and then we'll be asking the next set of presenters just to make themselves available so that we can get them ready, and then we'll be kicking off the keynotes in just under half an hour. Okay, I'm not seeing anything coming up in the chat at the moment. I will wait just a little bit longer just in case there's something. Okay, so if you're an attendee, feel free to, you know, go off and have a cup of tea and do something else for a while we get our speakers organized for the main session. So we will be continuing in just looking at about in 27 minutes time on the hour. We've got 2 keynotes, and then that's followed by one of our special tracks. Anything from the rest of the committee that I need to make clear before we wrap up? Any ideas?
Dave, maybe if I can just mention for interest, just before we started with this session, we heard that there are in total 101 participants, including all panelists, all directors, all executive members, organizing members, and attendees of the conference. So we're very happy about the 100+ participants.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Tom. It's really good. Yeah, we're really pleased that we've got, you know, good numbers despite having to go online this year. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and
okay, so yes, Helga.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention that yesterday I looked through the list, and there are over 20 countries represented at this conference, which is really wonderful. We are very pleased that our conference has been promoted in a way that more people can know about us. And we are grateful that each one of you that is here will be hopefully taking something really good back to your work, which you can use again. But I just thought 20 countries is also great to know.
Okay, cool, thank you. All right, so what we'll be doing is just doing a bit of admin with the next set of speakers. So we'll be looking through the participant list, looking for our next speakers and just getting them on board. So if it all looks a little bit disorganized over the next 20 minutes or so, it's just that we're making sure we're ready for the main content of the conference to begin. Okay. So Dean, if you're recording, probably a good time to stop the recording.